9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
Say his name and he appears. I believe it said.
What's up, WWT Universe? It is I, your mayor. It's Monday, September 29th, and that means we got to recap Monday Night Raw. It's the Monday Night Mayor post show, and we had a jam-packed Monday Night Raw. There's a lot to discuss as we're heading towards Crown Jewel, just our next upcoming PLE in just these few weeks on the heels of WrestlePalooza and everything that's going on. So we're getting the picture of the card is getting a little bit clearer. So let's just go ahead and jump in it. I'm going to let you guys fill in the chats, ask your questions, things like that. Of course, I missed you guys earlier on live. Hopefully you guys had a good time there. But we back in the saddle here for Monday Night Raw. So we started with Mommy open up the show. Noticeably angry Mommy, citing what happened at the end of our show last week where she was misted. And I don't know how Rhea got so blue. I don't know what they're putting in this mist. I don't know if she's just rubbing it in, but it got so deeply embedded into her skin and into her mouth and into her teeth, which I don't know. I mean, I don't like germs like that. COVID wasn't that long ago and it's still here. So I don't understand why mist is getting these wrestlers' mouths. That I can't get down with. That's a no-no. But Rhea pretty much said she's gunning for the Kabuki Warriors. Didn't really separate Asuka from Asuka from Kairi, and says she wants a piece. Io hits the ring and says it's not too late, or somewhere around saying she still loves them and doesn't want to go to war, doesn't want her to fight them. And then I wish they did more of this, man. But Asuka hit the screen, the Titantron, with a promo that was in her native tongue as well as English. They should really do this a lot with Io Sky and NXT. They really should adopt this with the subtitles. But Sindale's already ahead of me right there, saying that it's not too late to be family, while Kairi is trembling in her boots and nodding her head along to everything Asuka said, that she made Io and Kairi what they were, and that they should respect her, and that it's not too late. All she has to do is apologize, and Asuka will forgive her. And Sindel, you're saying that she's gaslighting. I'm saying that this is all facts. All facts. But the Kabuki Warriors, Io was conflicted, left the ring saying she just doesn't know yet. And that led to the Kabuki Warriors doing a sneak attack on Rhea Ripley, taking her out, Asuka and Kairi. Kairi is so conflicted. And it reminds me of those times when Jay years ago was at war with himself during the whole beginning of the Bloodline story. Just kind of in his head a lot. You see that with Kairi, where she's just doing the biddings of Asuka, but she really doesn't know why she's doing it. She's doing it with a heavy heart. Even the insane elbow in the back fist she gave to Rhea tonight, it seemed like she really didn't want to do it. And it's like the great character work of Kairi. I don't want people to miss that through all of this, that she's really conflicted while fighting, that's probably the best part of this whole rivalry for me. But it ended up with Kairi begging Io and Asuka to stop. I think it was genuine. I don't think it was a sneak attack move, but it was genuine, and Asuka took that advantage to mist Io. And same thing, Io rocked that mist the rest of the night. Got into her hair, into her skin, into her teeth, But I don't know, man. We saw Io. I'll just jump ahead. We saw Io talk to Asuka later. Sorry, Io talked to Kairi later in the evening, where Kairi was pretty much pleading with Io just to apologize to Asuka so they could still be a family. And then Io turned her away, said, "Kairi, leave me alone. Just leave me alone." And then she left a picture of them seemingly at a dinner or brunch, whatever, with the three of them just hanging out. And even though Io really couldn't see, you can tell that moment hit her pretty hard. What we know now is that Io went to Pierce, and that her and Rio, if you want to call them that, They are going to be taking on the Kabuki Warriors at Crown Jewel in Rhea's home country, home continent of Australia, because it's in Perth. So Rhea, who's seemingly away from the title picture, even though she said she is gunning for Stephanie, will have a match in Australia at Perth for Crown Jewel. Don't know how this match should go. I think, Kyrie leaving that picture is very heavy. I think that's going to play a role, man. They let me down with this very telegraphed angle last week with Asuka turning on Io, if you want to call it that. I feel like Io doesn't want to leave her family behind. Maybe Kyrie can be the one that brings her over the hump, but we'll see. I mean, it's wherever the money is, man. Like, get your merchandise off, make these Rio t-shirts, do like the cartoon t-shirts, Rhea with her tongue out and the EO emote thing. Like, make your money, but like, we don't need to do this long term. We really do not need to do this long term. I'm sick of it. Like, make a dominant women's faction out of Io, Kyrie, and Asuka for heaven's sake. First match of the night, Dirty Dom, your Mega Campeon champion as well as your Intercontinental champion, defending his title against Rusev. And while the Judgment Day, Finn and JD did accompany Dom to the ring, they left Dom alone. This was a one-on-one match. Honestly, this was a very good match. I was happy to see Dom get some offense off on Rusev. Even though Rusev was largely dominant, it showcased the ring improvement that Dom has had over the years, and the fans are eating it up. The fans loved him some Dirty Dom. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if we're getting a Dirty Dom face run at some point, but they are so enamored with Dom. And honestly, going into this match, I thought Rusev and Dom was such an odd pairing. I didn't know how it would look and how it would work in the ring, but they played off each other so well. So much so that Rusev ended the match by going for an accolade. Dom slips away, grabs his titles, and just outsmarts Rusev long enough, trying to hit him with the Eddie, throwing the title in his hands, but being able to push against the referee to hit a low blow and roll up Rusev by grabbing the tights and retain his title. It was a moment that, honestly, I laughed to see Rusev kind of take somewhat of a clean L to Dom, but it was done so beautifully that all you can do is smile. Shout out to Eddie Guerrero for giving us that style of character work that Dom is adopting now. And I think he'll continue to adopt this more, and like, fans are going to eat it up. I didn't see this on my Netflix feed, but I saw online that I think Dom did an interview later in the night where he was asked about Penta. He also said he's beat Penta 5 times or whatever like that. If you saw that on your feed, let me know in the comments what exactly was said. But it seems like Penta might be your next in line. I believe maybe not for the IC, but definitely for the AAA after Dragon Lee. I know Dragon Lee has a number one contendership. In the backstage area, let's see, what else do we have outside of Mysterio being heat? We did see a moment between Bayley and Lyra Valkyria again. We're still getting Schizo Bayley. Bayley was seemingly happy tonight to see Lyra actually donning one of Lyra's merch items that showcased her as the first ever women's IC champion. As we headed towards Bayley versus Raquel Rodriguez, Lyra told Bayley backstage, like, hey, can't give you any more chances. You put me on my ass in front of the whole world to see. You're on your own tonight. And honestly, this match, I know we have our 4 horsewomen rankings, but Bayley has always been dope to me. And she's really in her bag, and we know Raquel's in her bag. Wade Barrett did say that if there was a Slammy for Most Improved, that Raquel would have it hands down. I tend to agree. And I now am campaigning that Raquel be your 2026 Women's Royal Rumble winner. She's being that damn good in the ring. The way she played off Bayley, used her power, showcased a lot of the things she used to do in NXT as Big Mommy Cool. I think it's her time, and I think she should be rewarded for her consistent great work. Like, her and Rox have been brilliant parts of Monday Night Raw for the women's division, just wrestling, being the workhorses of the division every single week. This match ended with Rox raking the eyes of Bayley, Shin going a bomb, and Raquel got the win after seemingly, I believe, Rox dropped to both Bayley and Lyra in previous weeks. We now know that we're getting Lyra and Rox next week on Raw, but Lyra did had a change of heart, came and made the save for them, attacking Bailey after the match. Made light work of Rox, got Raquel and Rox to tuck their tails and run. And then Bailey, when soon as Lyra thought that Bailey was going to do a mind switch on her because she, I guess you want to call it hulking up, metamorphing, whatever you want to call it. I think they should just pull the trigger and get Bailey like the Fiend gloves and just do like Hurt versus Hug. If she had those gloves, I don't know if you can do like a Wyatt Six mashup crossover where Nikki Cross just gets Bailey's those gloves. That would be so dope to see when she's going in that mode and why. But she picked Lyra up, gave her kudos for coming in and helping her out. Eventually, we're going to do a tag match, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them do a tag match in Perth. I mean, you don't want to have – I mean, you could have 2 women's tag team matches on the card. Why not? Why not? But I think eventually you're going to get more tag team action, but I think it's time for Raquel to really stabilize herself as a force in the women's division, get more singles matches. She's already a record-breaking, 5-time women's tag team champion. I know Rox's time will come because Rox is amazing, but I think for the state of the women's division right now, like Stephanie's going to need a challenger. We don't know who that's going to be yet. I don't think you can do Rhea so early or Bailey or Io. Why not Raquel? Why not position Raquel to get that type of notoriety at this time when she's been so good in the ring? I think that would be great. Next up, we got a pre-tape package, a yawn fest for me, where we saw the history of Seth and Cody as we get ready for their Crown Jewel matchup. They're really making a lot of fuss about this 50-carat ring that is now the Crown Jewel Championship that we're seemingly fighting for, but really telling the story of the history between these two men. I think Seth posted a video earlier of their true developmental match over a decade ago. I don't know if it was FCW or OVW, but those two across each other in the ring. This is going to be their 4th chapter. We know that Seth is 0-3, and he's been kind of losing his mind over really needing to beat Cody Rhodes. We see LA Knight backstage addressing Adam Pearce about him being the number 1 contender because he's the last person to pin Seth. Who was interrupted by the New Day, who are upset because Penta has taken Grayson Waller out of action with the Destroyer. Trying to get him to ban the match. We now have Kofi versus LA Knight tonight. Now, let's see. That was a good match, but I mean, I don't know what we're doing with LA Knight. We did see Jay and Jimmy have a moment backstage ahead of their Tornado Tag main event match, where Jimmy is kind of questioning Jay, Jay's questioning Jimmy. We're starting to see Jay kind of morph back into the right-hand man, where it's family over everything, where Jimmy is kind of on the outside looking in because his moral compass is high, whatever you want to call it. He doesn't want to live through hatred or that last, whatever the pre-bloodline was. So we're starting to see the transition of Jay to, I guess, tribal chief, if you want to call it that. I don't know if we're still continuing that part of the bloodline story. When I look at SmackDown and we're getting these packages with Solo pretty much hyping up each part of his family tree, I don't know what we're doing. But Jay is seemingly hell-bent on getting back to the top of the mountain. And I don't know why they didn't come up that, hey, why can't Jimmy be at the top of the mountain? Why can't he be world champion? Because basically he told him, like, that's something that you don't know nothing about. So I don't know what we're doing with those two, but they're still a tag team from now. Next up, we had Kofi Kingston and LA Knight. Good match overall. I like that they played up the fact that, hey, Knight is wanting to be champion. Kofi's like, that's something you ain't never did. Do you know who I am? I've been a champion. I've been there. You haven't. So this was a match where New Day seemingly want to get back into the tag team title picture, but Pierce is just keeping them held down. Judgment Day have only defended their titles twice. LA Knight is just looking for a fight while he's waiting for Seth Rollins. I don't think LA Knight will be on the perf card as it stands right now. Now, what we see in this match is that LA Knight does get the victory over Kofi Kingston after thwarting the help of tips from Woods on the outside. Good match overall. I think Kofi always does great singles work in the ring. This is just kind of a side mission for LA Knight just to make sure we know that he's still prominently on the card, one of the biggest stars at the top of the card, especially since CM Punk and AJ Lee weren't on the show tonight. They're away. I don't know, man. Like the New Day keep losing matches. I don't know what's going to give here. I think they're doing great heel work with more than the tag team division. Tag division absolutely been stale. I don't know if LA Knight is heading for a Royal Rumble win or what we're doing with him. We don't do a lot of title changes outside of big moments right now, but something's got to give. I still believe in the Yeet versus Yeah match being something that can be very big on the road to WrestleMania or even at WrestleMania. But it's been kind of more of the same for both characters' story arcs, New Day and LA Knight. We did see Becky Lynch answer a challenge by Maxine Debris, and she actually ended up attacking Tozawa, I believe, and Maxine backstage. I felt like this was going to happen. We saw a moment with Maxine last week where she was saying she's ready for an opportunity. And I think Maxine's been working really hard, especially if she's been training with Natty like we see on her socials. And if this is a way that we can get low-key legend Natty to come to her friend's aid in WWE, because I know she's been rumored to be going through a complete character overhaul, I think it would be a good thing to do, is pull that trigger on that and come to the aid of Maxine. But I think what we're going to get during this match next week, because Seth did ask Becky if she felt better after doing what she did and attacking Maxine. She said she did. I think AJ is going to cost Becky this match next week, and Maxine's going to get the biggest win of her career, which won't hurt Becky at all. Becky's all about elevating the rest of the women's division. I'm happy to see her taking on Maxine as a counterpart on Netflix to showcase what Maxine has been doing in the ring and her improvements as a performer. Don't know where Otis has been. It's kind of just been Maxine and Tozawa of late with the Alpha Babes. Next up, we get Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes with a war of words. And really, the scoop here is that while Cody wants an admirable, fair fight, Seth Rollins is still scoring from those 3 losses. He says, no, they were never friends. He'll never say he's the better man or raise his hand or move on from that he was just a lesser of 2 evils with dethroning the tribal chief and pretty much spiraling, knowing he has to beat Cody Rhodes, even telling Paul backstage that he has to beat Cody Rhodes, that he doesn't need the help of Paul, doesn't want the help of the Vision, that he has to do it. Even declining Becky to come out to the ring with him. So this seems like they're building it like we felt the previous 3 matches they had, where it's man to man, 2 people at the top of their game, and there has to be 1 win, 1 lose. We know Cody got those previous 3, but the story they're telling here of Cody being the quarterback and being the guy why Seth feels he should take the industry forward is a good one. I'm not going to lie. Don't care for Cody being on Monday Night Raw every week, but it seems like they're telling a good story here, especially with trying to find the chinks in the armor, if you would, of the Vision, with him saying like Paul Heyman is only self-serving. Did you give the call for Paul Heyman to introduce Brock Lesnar? Did you give them the call to come to SmackDown, or was that Paul Heyman? I think in the end it'll be nothing but smoke and mirrors, no pun intended, that Seth is in charge of the Vision, and that while Cody is trying to poke holes in the Vision, that we'll see that they're stronger than ever come Crown Jewel. But Seth Rollins had the last word tonight, and I'm pretty sure we'll do another promo or moment on SmackDown as we head to Crown Jewel in just another couple weeks. Next up, we hear from AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. We know Dragon Lee's number 1 contender to the AAA Championship Dom holds, and that AJ Styles is going to face John Cena at Perth, which we're being told was by nothing but the fans being vocal. And we got to hear AJ Styles drop one of his favorite traditional lines. His favorite thing is to beat up John Cena. But they're in tag team action. Looks like this is going to be a tag team pair for the foreseeable after they have their respective matches with Dom and, of course, with John Cena. They take on Los Big Grandes, the Americanos, and their first action as a tag team. Still don't know who the Americanos are. AJ, and we now know their names are Rayo and Bravo. Don't know what we're doing. I'm pretty confident that one of the Americanos is Tyler Bate. The other one, don't know. But the Americanos were pretty much good in this match. We saw El Grande try to help out, which caused AJ take him out, and we see AJ and Dragon get the win. Big moment for them. I don't think that means they're done with the Americanos, but it helps put this past them so we can focus on Crown Jewel and, of course, the next AAA PLE that they're going to be doing with Dragon Lee versus Dom. But I think as we move through the rest of the year, they're going to be paired together. And I know people are joking about AJ, calling him AJ Lee. They should be called Phenomenal Lee. I think that'd be a better name in the interim. While we figure out what AJ Styles is going to do next year, I'm pretty sure we're getting ready for his last WrestleMania PLE in Vegas next year. Then we had the Tornado Tag. The Tornado Tag in the evening was the main event. So, yes, we are ending the show with the Vision yet again. But before we got there, and I wish they did bigger for Stephanie and Tiff, but Tiffany was backstage. She meets with Stephanie and she drops her, hey, it's always going to be Tiffy time. Stephanie says, like, you'll learn why I'm the best in the world type thing. And just a little war words while they're in front of Adam Pearce. But it didn't do anything to make it feel like that was going to be a big match feel when this is going to be the first time these two women touch, maybe outside of like a Battle Royal or Eliminate or Royal Rumble moment. So, like, they got to make that match feel bigger because it has absolutely still the show potential between those two women. But to the Tornado Tag, Usos are on the same accord. They're taking on the Bron Brons, and the Bron Brons are beating their ass. Not going front. They take Jimmy out. They're beating up Jay. Jay's about to get hit with mad tsunamis. And enter the Tribal Chief. OTC1 is back. I was kind of speculating like when he was going to return. He's been out of action for the past month after what was that, Clash in Paris, when he got beat up by Bronson Reed after the match, stretchered away. Tribal Chief came out, cleans house. The Usos pick up the win against the Bron Bron. So they're hitting Bron Bron with the double Uso splash. And then Roman pretty much takes Bronson Reed out completely with a steel chair and even attacks Bron after the match with the steel chair multiple times. Paul Heyman looked absolutely mortified. Seth nor Becky came out to help out. This was all Bron Brons versus Tribal Chief and the Usos. So now, seemingly, that rivalry is now 3-on-2. But what you see at the end of the match is what I want to focus on. And that's Roman Reigns, who didn't acknowledge Jimmy at all. Jimmy wasn't even here. He was just focusing on Jay, letting him know, like, you see what I'm telling you? This is all it's about. This is all that matters. You take what you want. You take what's yours. You don't wait for nobody to give you nothing. And Jimmy's in the background just looking like, what? We doing this again? Like, and of course, Jay always going to ride for his brother at the end of the day. Even earlier tonight, he was like, after they yelled at each other, he's like, I love you. But that sounded very like Roman-esque as well. But Roman being back and putting that battery in Jay's back is something to keep an eye out for. Maybe Roman starts to boss Jimmy around. I don't know. While Jay is continuing to get back to the top of the mountain. Got to feel like Roman. We already did Roman versus Bronson Reed. We might do that again in Perth just so Bronson Reed could get on the card. But I got to feel like we're going to do Roman versus Braun Breaker at some point. I don't know why we would do a tag team match like we did with Roman and Jay once before. But I don't know. Something has to give with that because Seth is already in action against Cody. But the Tribal Chief will probably more than likely absolutely be on the Crown Jewel PLE. Yet to be seen what happens between Jay as well as Jimmy, whether they're going to be in action, if LA Knight's going to be in action, what we're doing with this whole Vision thing. But it was a cool Monday Night Raw, I will say. I will say that this was it's building in the right way. I like that we're acknowledging certain things like AJ Styles, not really building his match with John Cena, but acknowledging that it's taking place. Of course, Dom had probably one of the best moments of the night with how he defeated Rusev. I'm pretty sure Rusev will still be hot on his tail for the IC title. And, of course, the women always steal the show. Bayley and Raquel was an amazing match. Of course, we're going to see Becky and Maxine next week. Lyra versus Roxanne again next week. And, of course, I'm pretty sure Stephanie will pull up to SmackDown to jump down Tiffany's throat on her turf as well as they get ready for their Crown Jewel match. Hopefully SmackDown does a better job of building that match to the spectacle that it really could be. But that was Monday Night Raw. Sorry I couldn't be with y'all earlier. I try to be with y'all on Wednesday for WWT Live. There's going to be more moments to check out as we get ready for Crown Jewel. Of course, as we get ready for Survivor Series because there's only limited dates left for Mr. Cena as we're getting ready for his final match. But I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. Thank you, Sindel. Thank you for you guys tuning in for the Monday Nightmare post show. We'll be back tomorrow, possibly, for the Tuesday Night Pharaoh NXT watch along. A lot of stuff to talk about, and I'm going to hold my tongue. I'm still in grieving from the actions of Saturday night with No Mercy, but I'll give you those thoughts later this week. Appreciate you guys for being the best part of WWT. Make sure you guys hit the link in the upper corner right here. Buy some merch. Super chats are on. Use our Stay Barista coffee code. Get some coffee, guys. It's good stuff. Keeps you up during the day. Stuff that's not going to bog you down. But until next time, this is the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet. I'm your mayor. 4 letters, 1 word. Bice. Peace.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WW Talk Pod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www.talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.